Just set them high on love, set them high on love, set them high on love, and set them high on love. Podcasting from a town called Manalapan, New Jersey. This is That Oneness Guy, a podcast covering the many aspects and elements that embody oneness. I am your host, Danny Rongo, and yes, I am that oneness guy. As an author, a singer-songwriter, and a podcaster, I continue to share my unique message of oneness. So as I always like to say, let's get right into podcasting. Moving right along here in season number 5 here, I want to continue with a trend that I had last season. As you recall, I've been blessed to either know certain individuals or got to know them through similar shared passions or on social media. But the folks that I had the privilege to interview last season were all very, very special in their own right. These humanitarians, as I like to call them, all share their passion and insight as either social media influencers, radio hosts, holistic advocates, charitable organizations, and fellow spiritual and inspirational authors. These individuals are taking measures to help society, to help me, to help you, to help our world in general, and to add awareness to the constant rise in oneness that we're all getting to witness and experience firsthand. Now, they accomplish this through their words, their message, and their actions. And my guest for this latest episode falls perfectly into those categories. Before I introduce you to her, let me tell you a little about Anne Dennish. Residing at the Jersey Shore, this single mom, writer, published author, and journalist finds her greatest inspiration for writing at the water's edge. She is also a songwriter, a radio talk show host, and a breast cancer survivor, mentoring other women and their families battling this disease. She's a big dreamer whose mantra is dream big and make it happen. Anything and everything is possible if you have faith in yourself and in your dream. Her books include Waking Up, Lessons Learned through My Adventures with Life and Breast Cancer, My Collective Soul, Things I Know Without Knowing Why, and her most recent book, Each Breath Along the Journey. Anne goes on to say, I can accept whatever life hands me, as long as I learn something from it and can do something positive with it for someone else. It's time to make a difference, and we could make that difference together. And to that I say, hallelujah. So my friends in oneness, please say hello to my fellow Jersey Shore advocate and friend, the inspirational and motivational author, Miss Anne Dennish. Hello, Anne.
Hi, Danny. Thanks so much for having me on your podcast. I am thrilled and so very grateful that we met. It's amazing how the universe works and brings people, like-minded people together. It's amazing to me.
Well, it's like I said, since I started following you, everything just seemed to resonate with me. And that's what, obviously, I was attracted to Anne. Your words are inspiring. Everything you put out has a positive connotation about it. And more importantly, you're always looking to help people. So that ties right into everything that I talk about, especially oneness, when we're here to really, give from our heart, to give from our natural source, to give from our being. You know what I mean? It's about giving. It's not about who we are, what we do. So I was naturally attracted to all that you represent, and it was just fun. Yeah, because as I was starting to put together my guests for my season 5 here, I just happened to get up, because I'm up at 4:30 in the morning before I go to my school. And, I always look through my Instagram first, and I just saw one of your posts, and I was looking through it. And again, it just resonated with the Jersey Shore. And for my friends out there who do not know, I was raised on the Jersey Shore as well, too. That's why you see me reference it often in some of my images, and Anne resides on the beautiful Jersey Shore. So we have that much in common too. So I wanted to have you on the show. I'm excited about it. As we spoke about briefly the other night, we're gonna have a great chat. So with that said, my friend, why don't you tell my listeners a little about your story and how you came to find this inspiration within you that you want to share with your, readers and followers and everybody too. So tell us a little about yourself there, my friend.
Well, like I had spoken with you before, I've been writing since I was a kid. I went on, writing through college, writing through high school, and I got married, had 5 children, and the marriage ended after 20 years of divorce or 20 years of marriage. And I think it's then I started really writing. I mean, with 5 kids, there's not enough hours in the day to write, but I would still write short stories. I journaled, I did all of those things, and life just started happening. Divorce was not a pleasant experience to have gone through. Being a single parent was difficult, but I kept writing everything I felt. I didn't sugarcoat anything. And, next thing I knew, I was writing a book. And, when you talk about emotional abuse, and some of that stemmed from way back when. And, I think the biggest thing for me was breast cancer. Happy to say I'll be an 8-year survivor on the 21st of this month.
God bless you.
I know, thank God. But I think I had such a difficult time coming out of a 20-year marriage. I wish there had been someone to speak to. I wish there had been a shoulder to cry on. I wish there had been someone to understand. And I guess right there and then, from that, going to breast cancer, raising kids in a difficult situation,
How far after it was it, Anne, from your, divorce to your diagnosis? Was it a long gap in between, or was
yes, there was a long gap, because I think I was divorced in 2006, and my diagnosis came in 2013.
Okay.
Is when that happened. But I think I just thought, I have nothing to lose. The more we talk and share our stories with people, strangers, people we know, the more they feel less alone. Because I know when I started really writing and just putting my life out there on my social media, strangers would come up and leave comments like, "Oh my gosh, you said exactly what I was feeling." And, "Oh, thank you for writing that. I've gone through the same thing." And as it started to progress, I thought, this is the way to do it. I want to go out in the world, and no matter what kind of day I have, and sometimes you'll see me write, I'm having a bad day. I feel like crying all day today, and I don't know why, but I tried to instill this in my kids. A lot of things, not so good things, will happen in your lifetime. The key is to justify the not so good days. There's a reason that they're happening. And even with breast cancer, I think I cried twice. The day of my diagnosis, I cried, because although I somehow knew that that's what it was, but I was never angry, and I made a deal with my cancer. I remember laying in bed with my hand over my tumor saying, "Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go through my treatment. I'm not going to bother you. I don't want you to bother me, but this is going to end in a few months. And I don't mind having you here in my body for as long as it takes to get rid of you. But you better do something positive for me, or teach me something about myself that I can go out and make a positive impact. I do not want to have cancer and have it had been for no reason at all." And it's kind of where Waking Up was born from. So that was just my feeling. I think when I talk to people, they're like, "Oh my God, you've gone through so much in your life." I'm like, you can't let it get you. I mean, it does. I'm not saying I'm perfect, that, some days don't get to me more than others, but, first and foremost, find your funny, make the best of whatever you're going through. And, it won't be like this forever, just for today. And I used to tell that to my kids. This too shall pass. And I'm not going to say cancer was a blessing in disguise. It was something that I'm grateful that I had. I'm grateful that I lived through it. I'm grateful for every single thing it taught me, and all these amazing people that I met throughout the journey with it.
Wow. Great story. And isn't it the truth that we find in so many instances that it takes something of, dare I call it, like a wake up moment or an aha moment, that usually I don't want to say forces somebody to do something more giving from
Right.
like,
That,
a holistic point. But I sense that in so many people that I've been speaking to, and obviously now, because as I've told you, and as my friends out there know, that I'm going through something similar too from my own diagnosis just this past September. But I too have found that inner calling not to sit with it alone. I want to share it, and it's about knowing that I may be able to help someone else. Just like what you said, when you hear people coming to you, just like, even if it's just a reply to a
right.
post or a tweet or something along those lines, you're like, you're touching people.
Hmm.
And especially in a time now when we need it more than ever, because now it seems like, especially over the last 2 years, what
Oh,
we've been
yeah.
through on the planet is that everyone had to go, and just like almost hibernate to a
I
degree.
know.
So
I know.
everyone's staying to themselves. No one was expressing, nobody was congregating, uh,
Nope.
especially during like the lockout periods and stuff like that, or the lockdown periods, I should say. But to see something like this from you, man, is it's just touching, and it's inspiring. It's inspiring.
Thank you. Well, see, now you know where the title of Waking Up came from.
Yeah.
I was keeping a breast cancer journal all throughout it. I didn't post it publicly or anything. It was my own personal journal.
Okay.
And I remember it was my last day of radiation. And the nurse said to me, "So, what do you think of this whole experience? What did you learn?" And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, it was such a waking up for me." And I thought, there it is. Because it does. Certain situations can wake you up if you have to let it. You can't. There's so many things in this world that we can just curl up in a ball and say, forget it. It's never going to happen. I'll never get well. This won't go my way. I don't believe in that. I always say to
No.
people, I'm living proof that I've been knocked down so many times. I'll tell you what, I'm going to get up every time. It may take a little while. And, even breast cancer, my one son had said to me, "You made it look like nothing more than having a cold." And I thought, because that's how I wanted it to look.
And that's how you approach it, because we all have choices in life. We have choices on how we're going to live our
Mm-hmm.
lives. And yet, by no means will I say anything, well, again, because I'm going through it, a similar case myself. So there's no way that I would say something like this isn't scary. It isn't intimidating, because it is. But again,
Oh,
we have
yeah.
choices on how we choose to live our days and live our lives. You could look at it and say, like you said, why me? This sucks, blah, 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 blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah. Or you can say, hey, I'm from the premise, and that I say there's no accidents in a perfect universe. That's something that my guru taught me, Wayne Dyer,
Oh, yeah.
decades ago. No accidents in a perfect universe. So if this is part of this divine plan, if this is, so it happened to you, it happened to me for specific reasons. And I think those reasons are exactly what we're doing now. You're teaching about it. I'm teaching about it. We're talking about it. We're spreading, we're trying to help other individuals. But it still comes down to how we choose to live our lives. And if people
Mm-hmm.
can get behind that positivity, like you said, to address it in the way that you did, helps.
Like I say, life is a mindset. Everything begins with you. Where your head is can affect your whole life. I know when I was going through my treatment for breast cancer, there were some people I saw there where I thought, oh my gosh, just let me talk to you. Just let me tell you how to get a better mindset. But you're right. Everybody has a choice. We always have a choice. I didn't have a choice to have cancer, but I had a choice to go through it the best I could. I had children that were watching me every single day to see if their mom was okay. And I thought, and I know there are a lot of people that don't come out as well as I did. And I know that. But there are people that I think if they know going in, and I don't call it, like you and I talked about, I do not call it a battle. I didn't call it, a battle with cancer. It was my journey. It was my journey with cancer, because cancer doesn't hate you. I mean, it's screwy cells, and
It's
how can you
part
be
of our
angry?
bodies. How can really anything in our body be, wrong? It's, again, to me, implying judgment doesn't serve anything. So I don't really call anything right or wrong. I look at the world and life in it as, like I always say, life just is. It's not right or wrong. It just is. And just from doing that, it immediately takes some of the load off you, because it takes some of the pressure out of our lives by acceptance. To me, that's what I call acceptance. When we know that, okay, I don't have to agree with everything in life, but acceptance to me means that we see it through the eyes of oneness. And that's
Absolutely.
So that's why I don't look at my case as a battle, as a fight. Something else that Dr. Dyer taught me years ago, he said, anything that we fight weakens you, and anything that we're for empowers you. So he put it so simply. He said, don't be in the fight against drugs per se. Be for a drugless society. You see, just by spinning the words, Anne, you see how
I know the book you're talking about. I read those books.
Yeah. It changes it changes the narrative instantly. So you weren't battling or fighting your cancer. You were for yourself getting beyond it.
Because I always feel like that negative emotions, it's just, negative emotions breed negative energy. And I did not love having cancer. I will not say I loved having it, but I had to make the best of it while I had it. And for me to have been angry at something that didn't pick me on purpose, it just happened. I didn't want to be angry. I didn't want a negative emotion. I, certainly had days where I wish I didn't have it, but I thought, and you and I also spoke about prior to this, that when you get that diagnosis, you think, there goes my life. That's it. When for me, the whole thing was like less than a year and a half. And I thought, what a glitch in time. I was so worried that that's the rest of my life. It was a glitch in time that I had to change my way of thinking, accept something that scared me the first moment they told me I had it. But I thought, well, the fear is not going to help. It's here. So what's the best way we're going to get through this? What's the best way for treatment to go through it? What's the best way to handle the kids? What's the best way for me to be able to get up in the morning and every morning and say, okay, this is another day that tumor is shrinking. It's another day closer to it's going to be gone.
So let me ask you something too. How do you feel when you get the opportunity to speak with other women who were going through what you went through? What does that feel like to you, to know that you're inspiring them, offering them hope, offering them insight? That's got to make you feel great, I would think.
It makes me feel great in the sense that I didn't have cancer for nothing. It wasn't for nothing. It was for something bigger than the cancer itself was. For different women to, that I became friends through social media. Someone said, can you just talk to my friend? Can you this? They're my soul sisters. That's what we call each other. We all got through it. And when they say to me, just the way you spoke, you gave me a different perspective. It means the world to me, because it's exactly the deal I made with that cancer. Make something good come out of it and let me do something with it to help other people.
Yeah. That was the biggest point of my going public with my diagnosis. I said to my wife, if there's one person that I can help, how I'm going through my journey, if I could inspire them or if I could offer them insight, it'll be worth it.
It absolutely is. It does. And it seems to take the burden off of the person having the cancer. It lightens the burden. It's almost therapeutic that even though you're going through it or you just got over it, you have the ability, because, I've often said you can't really, since I had cancer, I didn't mind talking to people with cancer, because they could have a million people in a support system. Unless you've gone through it, unless you've had that experience, you don't exactly know. So I was grateful that I could take an experience like that and help some people, because, like I do now, my 8-year anniversary is coming up. I have a checkup the day after it. I usually, if COVID allows, I usually go up with either copies of my latest book, or I go up with a big bouquet of flowers and I visit the women in getting their treatment and give them a flower, just to say, listen, I'm 8 years, my hair grew back. Look, see, you can do it. You can do it. And just
That's wonderful.
because someone did that when I was going through treatment, and it meant the world to me. I thought, yeah, well, you see somebody come out on the other side. That's an inspiration in itself, and I'm just doing, average girl trying to do what she can do.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Listen, I want to move right along here. I was intrigued about the title of your second book. So I wanted you to tell my friends and listeners too, what's the message you want readers to take away from your book, My Collective Soul? Give us some insight about that.
It was more about intuition, because there are a lot of times very intuitive. I've always been very intuitive, and people will say to me, sometimes I'll just say something without knowing why I say it, and within a day or two, or even that night, there's the reason I said it. And I said it's kind of an intuition thing, things I know without knowing why. There's a lot of things I know, I don't know how I know them. In time I will, but it's about intuition. It's a series of short stories, very similar. Waking Up is a little different, but all three of those books of mine are short stories about parenting, divorce, cancer, abuse, dreams. I mean, I just locked into every facet of life. So every book has something for everybody, and they're all done in short stories. So it's not
is the message to encourage the reader?
Oh gosh, the message
pay homage to the intuition.
Absolutely. And the message is to kind of tell people, and I believe everybody has intuition. I think some people they're afraid of it. They feel like, oh no, I knew something, or I felt something coming.
Hopefully all of my listeners out there know that, what it is. And like what we call intuition here, it's simple. We like to say that when we speak to God, it's called prayer. But when God responds back, that's intuition.
I believe that with all my heart.
Yep.
And that's why I think some people are afraid of it. They don't like the answer. They don't like how they're feeling. They don't know what message is coming through. But I'll tell you, on the rare occasions I don't follow that intuition, I'm sorry I didn't.
And it could be from the smallest of things, like you're driving somewhere and something tells you to take like an earlier exit than you normally would, and you go, that's not my exit, I'm not going to take that. But then you keep going, and then you're stuck like in a bumper to bumper traffic thing for your next
true. I do that all the time.
That's why I was being told to get off that exit. But the thing that I love about intuition is that it helps me reconfirm that we're energy, because intuition is a gut feeling. People say follow your gut because you feel it. And that's actually what it is. And that's what blows me away about intuition. It proves that we're energy, because you actually feel it. You feel yourself. You're saying, what is this? Something.
I know.
It is a gut feeling, and it'll steer you always in the direction of your higher source, because your intuitive feelings are always going to put you back in alignment. That's what a lot of people have to remember.
Exactly. And part of the things I know without knowing why, sometimes, I'm sure you've felt it too, you'll meet somebody and they might be the nicest person in the world, nothing foreseeably wrong, but you get this gut feeling like, I don't know, something is off. And it might take months to find out, but then you have that moment, your waking up moment, where you go, I knew it. I knew something was off. Wasn't a judgment. You're feeling their energy. And that's where things I know without knowing why. I don't know why I don't want to be around a certain person sometimes. I don't know the exact reason why, but I have faith that eventually it will be revealed to me why I felt that way. It always is. It always is.
It's fine too, because Andrea, my wife, and I, sometimes we can, because she's just as in tune as me, if not more so, in so many ways. But there's times when like the two of us could be at a gathering or at a party or at a bar, wherever, at a public place. And sometimes when someone walks in, you just feel the energy either lift, either drop, or get raised by whoever's walking in sometimes. And we've had examples of both sides. Like sometimes, like when someone walks in, you go, wow, there's something about this person, and you just feel the whole room lift up. And then there's the other side when someone walks in and goes, This isn't good.
No,
I was gonna
I
ask.
always say that's when the hair on my arms is standing up. This is not good.
Yeah. And that's the truth, right? Because you get these vibrations, you get these feelings, and it's your intuitive nature, it's your higher source talking to you, giving you a message. And that's why it's so perfect to put it in those terms, like that's your God. Again, I don't like to pinpoint what your spirit or entity is. I use God because it's the most recognizable word, but your higher source
Mm-hmm.
is talking to you in that time and space.
It
That's
will.
why we should always, my friends, pay attention to your intuition.
I agree with you 100%.
Not really. Um, and then also each breath along the journey. Loving that title as well, too, my friend.
Thank you. I actually shot that cover in Bradley Beach on the beach. I was taking my son to work and coming back that way because he worked in Asbury Park. And I'm like, oh, there's a new little section, because I was more of a Belmar Spring Lake girl. That's where we hung out. And I used that for the cover. And as I looked at the cover and all the stories in there, I thought, life is a series of breaths along the journey. I mean, it's just, in fact, I'm just looking through my book now just to see. I know I wrote something in the beginning of it. Just about, I wrote, always be grateful for every day that you were gifted to have on this earth, and know that you were blessed with each breath along the journey. That's where that came from, that each breath we take for granted. Let's face it, we're going through work, we're doing this, we're doing that. You don't stop to think sometimes. I mean, I wake up, when my eyes open in the morning, I'm grateful, and I'm grateful for that breath and everything. And I do view life as a journey. It's a journey of ups and downs, changes. We're getting older along the line, and that's where the title came from. I just envisioned life as a breath of like people say, a breath of fresh air. Well, this is the journey. It's a lot of different breaths along the way.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, I agree. And it's sometimes like when people go through what you went through, and again, what I'm going through, it like makes those breaths along the way that much more meaningful. I know that, I've always highly regarded every day here, but now, honestly, over the last 5 months, now that I'm into my journey, even more so. Because like my whole life has been changed, obviously, and it's not just my life, it's my wife's life too.
Right.
We're partners in this. So it changed our life drastically from the foods we eat now, because as I told you, I'm treating this through homeopathy and everything holistic that I've been practicing for years. So it's it's been a change, especially a diet. As you can see, I'm real skinny right now. See, yeah. Especially if my friends out there say, Dan, you do look a little light there. I'm like, yeah, I'm down about 23 pounds, my friends out there.
There you go.
Like when you watch the YouTube version of this, you'll be able to say, damn, Dan, you did lose some weight. Yeah. But honestly, I feel great. I never felt better. I'm strong. I'm at the gym. I'm doing everything that I want to do with my throat, especially singing. As I mentioned to you, Anne, the other day, so I'm still singing, I'm still teaching, and I'm still hosting this podcast, which I need my throat and my voice for. But everything's working. But again, getting back to the point, it's about recognizing these opportunities to be grateful for everything. And I am so grateful for the fact that because I chose a specific path, that I'm still able to do what I love to do. And I'm blessed, and I do not take that for granted. And in my prayers and in my meditation, I give thanks every day. But I agree with what you said 100% about, you got to take those moments. You got to take those moments.
I know life is a strange thing. And after the last couple of years, what this entire world has been through.
Exactly. Great point, especially in light of what we've been going through. How do you not take some time to get in touch with nature? You know what I mean? Like Anne and I are blessed, my friends, here to be, like on the Jersey Shore.
Yes, we are.
Such a beautiful thing. And for my dear friends out in the UK who are watching this right now and listening, just Google the Jersey Shore and you'll get images of just so much beauty. It's tough. And like, I'm not saying that I've been everywhere in the world, Anne, but I've been to an awful lot of beaches around the world, and especially here in the States. And, Andrea, my wife, says the same thing. You can't beat the Jersey Shore when it comes to that shore life, that shore atmosphere, our
I know.
beaches.
I
You
know.
really can't.
It is beautiful. It really is. It is. That's why I call it my happy place. That, and there was another little section in Shark River Hills, which was on the Shark River. It was like, I used to go down there and walk, and it was not the ocean, but that's actually where I shot the cover of Waking Up, was down there at a sunrise. And it was beautiful in its own right. I mean, it was two different things. Ocean's a little rougher, the river's a little softer, but talk about a happy place. That was where I went to think, to just go down and breathe, take a breath along the journey. I'd go to the beach or somewhere on my happy place, one of them.
Yeah, wonderful. So I am going to ask you like in a little bit regarding all of your sites and stuff like that. But one thing that I've been captivated of yours by is because, first of all, I don't know where you find the time to do it, because I know you're as busy as I am, but you blog an awful lot. And what's your inspiration? Is it the first thing that hits you to like put something down to paper, like pen to paper, as they say, Anne?
Yeah, a lot of times.
Thought about the day before. Tell us a little bit of your blogs. And folks, I am going to tell you where to find Anne. So just sit tight with that for a second.
A lot of it's based on my days. I mean, if I'm having a good day, I'll write about it. I just wrote a story about this last night about banana bread with my child who's living. Because he asked me for and it just brought back such a memory of them when they were little, because I used to say,
did you make that actual bread in the picture though? No,
I wish. Mine does look very similar. I took
that looked really good.
I didn't have time last night to do that. Okay. But I think I talk a lot about my life experiences. If I'm having a bad day or if something crosses my mind, I'll jot it down. And it's either, I used to be a 5 o'clock in the morning writer when I wasn't working full time. Now it's a little later in the day that I write, but it could be a stranger that I meet on, well, the lady on the corner I wrote about the other night in Asbury Park. I'm like, look at this woman. She's out there, taking pictures slanted, because that's what she does. She had a certain thing, but she's out meeting people, and I recognize her from social media. So I think my blogs all come from a culmination of every experience I've been through in my life. And if I see somebody being unkind to somebody in the world, it strikes a nerve, a little bit of a trigger, and I'll write about it, about kindness. I write about kindness all the time, because I don't think it takes much to be kind. It frustrates me.
Everyone that I read has an overtone of caring, of kindness, so I try to,
and I think some of my writing too is to get a point across to people. Words matter. You can't take them back. When you say something negative to somebody or something nasty, I, for one, know that even if they're a nice person and good, you always somehow, our hearts remember the bad stuff because it hurt. And I've taught my kids
with the online presence that, like once it's out there,
it's done.
Hit enter and it's out
it's done.
It's done, man.
So I try to write really positive things, and it's all born out of every day. I mean, I have people that are like, I'll be out with them. Oh, so great. Now I'm going to end up on one of your posts, your blog. I'm like, well, you meet all these people. Of course, you learn different things from people, and I write about it.
That's a wonderful trait to have. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
So my friend, it's at about this time of every interview where I kind of like to put my guests on the proverbial spot. So,
okay.
I'm going to challenge you. It's simple. I ask each guest the same question because it resonates with my listeners, it resonates with me, and it resonates with the world. So I'm going to ask you this question, and you can answer it any way you want, in 1 word or in 100 words. I don't care. It's up to you. Okay? And the question is this, Anne. Why oneness?
Because everything begins with oneness. That's how I perceive it. I am one person. You are one person. This is my oneness. And if I can't kick out all the good stuff from my oneness, nothing's going to change.
Nice. Nice. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So, right now, what I want you to do is, because I'm going to be sharing this in the description of this podcast, and I'm going to also put it when we do the YouTube version of this, it'll be coming across the bottom of the screen here, as my friends know. Tell my friends and my listeners, Anne, where they can find more about you, website, social media. Tell them where all they can find you.
I'm on Facebook as Anne Dennish. I have an Instagram account, which is Anne Dennish, Anne_Dennish. My blog, my website, and that's annedenish.com. And I'm trying to think where else I am. Oh, I'm also on SoundCloud under Anne Dennish. I recorded 14 songs from my book, Waking Up. They're on SoundCloud. Some of my podcasts are on SoundCloud. I also have YouTube, Anne Dennish. Some of my internet radio shows are recorded on there, and things I was doing, because when COVID was around, I was trying to keep people calm at night. So I was trying to do bedtime stories where I would read different stories out of my book, and in an even tone voice, trying to make the world a calmer place during the initial lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's about it. SoundCloud,
Okay.
YouTube.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. Like I said, I'm going to be sharing all of this. It's going to be on the description of this podcast, so everyone tunes in based on whatever platform that they're using, whatever site they're using, they'll be able to see it. But my friend, you are, like I said before, you're a rock star, man. You know,
Thank you. I think
Jersey
you are
proud,
too, Danny.
Jersey Shore proud, not just Jersey proud, Jersey Shore proud, which is
Thank
really
you.
the bomb nowadays. And in fact, Andrew and I can't wait till the weather warms up. We start running down the Seagirt. Seagirt's our jam. We just love Seagirt. We always go there this spring, summer, fall. We like to just get down there and just walk and just sit. But that's a beautiful
It's a beautiful beach. It's a beautiful beach.
Oh yeah. But listen, I want to thank you. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. And I'm sure this is just the start of our relationship, because we'll be following each other and sharing each other's success.
I think it's awesome. And I can't thank you enough for contacting me with that beautiful message through Instagram. It was like divine intervention.
Yeah.
As I told you the night before, I was sitting there going, man, I would love to be on a podcast. I'd like to get the word out there. And I woke up to your message and I was like, thank you. I just took a look straight up. Thank you so much.
Totally my pleasure. But thank you again. And I want to thank you, my friends, again for listening to That Oneness Guy podcast. This has been episode number 42, an interview with inspirational and motivational author Anne Dennish. If you've liked what you've been listening to.
Thank you so much, Danny.
Oh, please, no problem. If you like what you've been listening to, please take a moment to subscribe to this feed. You can find That Oneness Guy podcast on any and all of your favorite podcasting sites, apps, and smart home devices. You can also find That Oneness Guy I'm on Facebook, as you know, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Just search for That Oneness Guy. And I like to say for my YouTube friends out there, please subscribe to my channel. That includes these podcasts, my vlogs, and all of my many music videos, interviews, and performances. So please do subscribe. All you got to do is just search for That Oneness Guy and/or me, Danny Rongo, and you'll find all my stuff. You can find my books, I Am God, and So Are You, My Friend, A Common Man's Guide to Oneness, and The Ways of Oneness, Helping to Navigate Life. Both are on Amazon. So I say, please visit Amazon.com and just search for Danny Rongo and you'll find them. And finally, please stay in touch with all things oneness on my websites, which are thatonenessguy.com and also DannyRongo.com. And I have a special thing for you, for my new friends out there. To start off this new year, I have a gift for you, if you'd like. Please go to thatonenessguy.com, just sign up, give me your email, and then shoot me your mailing address. And I have, as you can hopefully see right here, these Oneness wristbands. I have a bunch of them, like a couple hundred. So if you'd like one, I'd be more than happy to send you one. Just sign up for that at That Oneness Guy and give me your mailing address, and I'll be happy to send you one. So for now, again, this is Danny Rongo. I am That Oneness Guy. Please look out for my next show and know that, as always, I send you peace, love, light, and continued oneness. Namaste. And set them high on love, set them high on love. Just set them high on love, and set them high on love. Just set them high on love, on love, and set them high on love, and set them high on love. Just set them high on